Good afternoon, everybody, to another Rev Talk. We've just been discussing various awakenings within the societies as you look through Facebook, Instagram, and whatever you follow online. And we're trying to figure out about the spirituality of, quote, our people who become spiritual. Are we spiritually awoken or awoke? Are we right? Are we wrong? Where's the distinction to where having to be woke or having to be just plain spiritual? And the one thing I've discovered since I have a hospice care with my mother-in-law now, they've blown me away. Every single one of them is spiritual. And it's not a religious spiritual, it's not a product of spirituality. They preach and teach and do what they believe is the best for everybody concerned. They don't judge you how you're taking care of her. They just tell you ways that can help her pass over. They tell her different ways she's passing over and to what to watch for. And they say, we don't listen to the outside world. We're here doing what we were brought to do. And this is from the social workers to the nurses to the bathers. It just, and my husband's just going like this because he doesn't understand anything. And they all use crystals, they all use oils, they all use herbs. It's just, I did not see this coming. And it amazes me because, as I stated, are we awakening or are we woke? What do you think, Reverend Kim?
Oh, well, you know me.
That's a trigger.
That is a trigger for me. It's one of the reasons why I avoid any kind of lengthy stay on Facebook. I don't have an Instagram or anything like that. I look for the uplifting messages and uplifting stories. It's when It's when some of these wonderfully spiritual people have the audacity and the hypocrisy to turn around and look at somebody else and say, well, they're not awakened. Boy, I wish that person would awaken. They'll understand when they wake up, when they're awakened. And I think, oh, that sets me off, because how dare you make that assumption on that person? How dare you judge that person that they're not awakened because they're not following along with you? They're on their own journey, and I got news for you. They are awakened.
I think what triggers me on that, just what you said right there, they're judging.
Yes.
And
And
then
it's
I fall back to biblical quotes, you
right.
know? And it amazes me that I do that because I'm not basically a religious person. I consider myself a spiritual person, but I'm constantly falling back, and I don't know where I get to half the quotes because I haven't read the Bible since I was a young child.
Right. Well,
And
I get that whole judge not lest ye be judged. That's the one
yeah,
that always
or throw the first stone and you shall.
pops into my head. It is a huge trigger for me, because and as soon as I feel that coming on, that's when I I I just get off of there. And I guess my lesson is to be able to send love to all the people,
Whoever.
whoever they are, because if you're noticing somebody on there and saying, oh, these people, they'll figure it out sooner or later. Well, they already have. They're being brought to your awareness for you, not for them, for you. So I always find that kind of interesting when people use that phrase. They're like, oh, well, I can't wait for these people to wake up. Well, I got news for you. They already did, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is living their journey and traveling.
It's their journey, and it's
Right.
exactly like you said. You can't judge them. They're right where they're supposed to be.
Exactly.
And that's what we've been saying all along. Don't worry about the journey. You're where you're supposed to be and learn what you need to learn.
Right. Focus on your own journey,
Mhm.
which I get. It's very easy. It's very easy to fall back into that old pattern of, he said, she said, oh, look what these people are doing. That's got to be wrong. Yeah, that's again, everything is changing. And if you think the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you're not seeing the whole picture. The chaos out there, if you're focusing on that chaos, you're not stepping back to see that actually everything is falling into place. The chaos, the whatever is coming up from, past lives, all this negativity or whatever,
Yeah.
is on its way out and it
And
knows
it's
it.
fighting.
Exactly. And it's kicking and screaming. That's what happens when you see some person that they're being dragged out of some place and they're kicking and screaming. Well, that's kind of the same thing.
Mhm.
The
Change is
negative,
hard.
well, it is. It is. And mindfulness is very important and easy to forget. I'm very much easy to forget that I need to be mindful of, other beings and what's going on. So that's why that's what I think my sister had said, when did you become such a recluse? And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I've always been one. I don't know. But no, that's not
Mm.
true. I used to get caught up in a lot of the chaos and all. Now I try to hide or I try to shield myself from all of that by not engaging. And so
That's the answer.
by not engaging, I'm actually, you know, pretty much on my own. Until I reach out and talk to like you or Reverend Vanessa or somebody that I know is in alignment. And I think
Yes.
that's where we're all headed as well. We're seeking out those that are like-minded, that are in alignment with our energies. So yes, sometimes it may look like, I'm a shut-in or
But you're not
I'm
because you're
not, but
doing other things behind the scene.
right, exactly. But again, if you're focusing only on one area, that's all you see, and then you
That's
make
right.
that judgment.
There you go.
Well, there's a whole lot more to that person than what you're seeing, or that person than a little sentence that you've read. It's our society is very much brought down to a few words, and everybody jumps in and wants to, say whatever. It's a matter of, again, trying to remember to be mindful that everybody who is on this planet is here because they're supposed to be. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And we need to honor that as much as we honor our own place in the tapestry.
Hmm. And on your journey, you will have people come in and out of your life that will add value to it. And then they'll go. And it's the same with them. And
Right.
they feel threatened when someone doesn't agree with them. So they have to take that step back or let it go. And that's something we all challenge and fight back with. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And you stay almost like you said in your little bubble
Yes.
and you're not caught up in the chaos. I don't
Exactly.
listen, like I try not to listen to anything. My husband listens to the news constantly. It just drives me crazy.
Ray has
And
that on all the time, and I just,
gee,
oh, it's like, you know what? I think sometimes it's like he thinks, oh, that's background noise. And to me, though, it's more than background noise because
It's subliminal.
there's an
Mhm.
energy being put out there that's not a nice energy.
Mm.
You can feel it in your body too.
I was going to tell you something really interesting. Like I said, I lived in the Spokane Valley. Okay,
Right,
well, it's the Spokane area.
right.
And the one of the nurses was telling me, energetically wise, we're in a gully between, I forget which mountains, I guess it's the Cascades or the Rockies, but we're in this valley and
Mhm.
it's all stagnant.
Oh, that's
That's
interesting.
why these people here are so different than I'm used to. Like in California, we're always going and doing and having things happening. Here, you're stagnant. You don't do anything in the winter. Come spring, you go out and walk, and then it starts fall, and then it's downtime again. So it's very limited. And when she said that, she goes, I don't know why I moved here because she's been here 10 years and she has a farm. And so she was explaining all the different things, but I couldn't understand why the feeling was different. So I started researching, and it's the energies. And
Sure.
they have a map of the whole world, and it shows the different flows of the energies that create new ideas, and they're stagnant. So you know where the stagnant things are. And I thought,
That's
that is
interesting.
so amazing.
That
Maybe I'll look at there
is
for see where I want to live, you know?
absolutely. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So it was
That's a
really, and this was from a caregiver.
wow. I love that. I love that. And I also love the fact that you've just proven that the right people are going to find their way to you at the right time, always,
Yeah.
always. I know we have this tendency to want to control everything. Well, I've got to call these people, I got to do this, I got to do that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just when things don't necessarily pan out the way we think they should, it doesn't mean that the universe
Yeah.
isn't working behind the scenes on our behalf to make something even better happen. And I think that what happened with the hospice people is a beautiful example of those people showing up exactly when they were supposed to, because you've been struggling for a while with this, for a
Yeah.
very long time with this, and they showed up exactly at the right time when they were meant to, which I think is fabulous. I just love
It
it.
is. And then to have them be spiritual. It just,
Oh, well,
and
absolutely. Of course they're
crystals
going to
and
be.
oils and everything. And it's
Of,
just like,
of course they're going to be.
yeah.
You know, that was the end and something better. You know how you ask for you're supposed to, oh, I'd like this or something better. And that's
It,
how you
it's
put that
funny
out to the universe. And that's what happened. You
how I got it.
or
And
something better
we were always talking about we have to have someone with Spanish speaking.
or
And
something
there's
better.
nobody here who speaks Spanish. The caregiver that's volunteering her time is going to come every Sunday for us for 3 to 4 hours so we can go grocery shop because otherwise one has to go and the other has to stay home. And she goes, and I haven't spoke Spanish in 8 years, but I think it'll come back because I was living in Mexico. And my mouth dropped open. And then she's a farmer like I want to be. She got goats, ducks, llama, and she grows flowers
Mhm.
is what her thing is. And she sells flowers for a living. They have 10 acres and she grows them from seed and then retransplants them. So between now and Mother's Day, she says, I'm busy because of this. But once these are in the ground and once they start selling, then I'm all yours. So I thought,
Nice.
this is just so really, it's just like you said, everything's coming. And then
In
I get
divine
down.
timing.
But so I have to just believe.
That's what divine timing is right there.
Hmm.
That's divine timing. The right
Yes.
people showing up exactly when you needed it and more than you expected.
Yeah.
That's divine timing right
That's
there.
when I know I'm on the right path. And I kept seeing
Absolutely.
those numbers and I kept saying, well, what new beginning? What, And
It
it's
is.
coming to fruition now. It's the light at the end of the tunnel's brighter.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. I love that. So, thank you. We want to thank you for joining us on another Rev Talk. We want to remind you to be kind to yourself and to be gentle to yourself, and to remember that you are unique in all the universe. There will never be another just like you in all of space and time. You are powerful, you are cherished, and you are loved. And without you, the song of the universe would be incomplete. Until next time, my friends, be well.
Well.